Hello everyone, I'm going to make this short as possible. I'm not going to mince words here. Humanity has been deceived for centuries by humanity's own belief systems, by all the religions across the world, by kings and leaders, and all the books and documents that's been written by humanity since they started writing and telling stories. And now we're in the biggest of all time of how we're being deceived. And that's the internet. You got over 8 billion belief systems out there that humanity has created for themselves, telling everybody how life should be and what we should be doing on this planet and who we are and what we are and where we came from. It's just endless. And whoever created platforms for people to be able to do that. You got the governments, which governments started ages ago. And all the different governments, all the different countries have their own different ideas of what a government is, what a ruler it should be. It's just endless. And you got back in the World War I and World War II, the Japanese had Propaganda Rosie. She would come over the airwaves and make the Americans believe that this was being done and that the Japanese was overtaken and overrunning everybody. It was just it was a scheme. It was to keep you in a whole different realm and a whole different reality of what your life really was. And that's what's happening now. Not only it's through the governments, it's through the programs, it's through the organizations, it's through the internet, it's through people coming on with their own belief systems and saying, well, this is what I found out, this is what this should be, and this is what that should be. And we have forgotten what reality really is. People sit and scroll, finding all new stuff. Oh, that sounds like that could be it. And they listen, and they listen, and they listen. The religions that are out there, telling the different aspects of what you got to be and how you got to get there to be able to live this life or go to heaven. The Islams believe that you gotta kill the infidels because then when you get to heaven you're gonna have all these wonderful women. It's just endless. It's just endless of the propaganda that is spread everywhere, and we have forgotten who we really are. And it actually, even though we don't really know what the Garden of Eden was, but these scriptures do say part of it, that we were given two choices. Now, who gave us two choices, we do not know, because if you look at the government now, they give us different choices, either live this way or live that way. Like when the pandemic hit. Well, you got this choice. You can take this and not get sick or not pass away, or you can take the chance of whatever. So we're given many different options of how to live our lives, but that's just like today. All right, if you say this, if you say that, well, then this is what's going to happen. Different things like that. So we're given different choices. Well, back in the so-called Garden of Eden, that we still don't know all the facts. Now, and a lot of religious denominations believe they think they know what that was all about. But do we really? No, no. Because in the beginning, when was the beginning? Long, 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 long time ago. Let us make man in our image and our likeness. And that Creator loved the creation that was created. Let us make man in our image and our likeness. Well, what was that image and likeness? Could we do everything that the Creator could do? Was what it's all about? Because there's a saying now that like father, like son, like mother, like daughter, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We were created to be able to speak the life that we were meant to have. That the Creator didn't have to be around all the time. But that's neither here nor there. So in this Garden of Eden, someone placed two options. And of course, and a lot of people say, well, that was real trees. No, I don't really believe they were real trees. Somehow or another, I think it had something to do with that if you do this, if you take this, or if you start operating your life this way, then this is what it's going to be. Because, when you read the scriptures, which, like I have said many, many times, they've been translated differently at different times and may mean slightly different things. But that slightness can add a whole bunch or take away a whole bunch. But it said you can either choose the tree of knowledge, good and evil, which our brain is like a tree inside. And if we think a lot of good thoughts in the tree, the brain is going to grow beautiful in there. Everything is going to be perfect. We're going to be able to, and it says choose life. I would that you choose life. And then somebody else comes along, and then somebody else said, well, you can choose this. And if you choose this, tree of knowledge, good and evil, in other words, I'm not quite sure what that means exactly, but you can start thinking for yourself is what I'm thinking, instead of following the good. You're going to be able to see both, do both, whatever. I don't know. But we were given a choice. So really they chose the knowledge of tree of good and evil, thinking for ourselves. So then it all started, because everybody has the ability, created in the image of the Creator, have the ability with that knowledge to create our own reality. And like I said, there's over 8 billion belief systems because we chose that way. Whoever, I didn't choose it. But that's how we've been developed throughout the years, throughout the centuries. We've created our own reality in the way we perceive things instead of following what was intended for us in the first place. But we were given two choices. But, okay, so here we are, and constantly being deceived about this is how we got to do it. We're deceived through religion. We're deceived through governments. Deceived, propagandized. Just all kinds of things going on, and we're allowed to perceive everything the way we want to perceive them, or how our brain takes it. So, and what was the purpose to all of that? Well, what's the purpose to what we see now? It's to keep us distracted from who we really are, from keeping us from knowing that we don't have to follow that regime. We don't have to follow that way. Back in the Roman days, that if you did not profess to be a Christian, if you did not become a Christian, the god-awful things they would do to you. So if you want to stay alive, you became a Christian. But what's the point to all of that? Because here Jesus said, Yeshua said, go within, all the answers is in here. God is one with you. And you can speak to the mountain, tell it to move. So Yeshua, Jesus, was trying to tell us who we really are, the reality of who we were. And all this propaganda and all of this religions, not just Christianity, because there are so many denominations to Christianity, it's ridiculous. There was the Sadducees and the Pharisees back then. They had two different, but then you had the Romans, because the Sadducees and the Pharisees were hooked kind of like to the Romans, and they told us that this is how it had to be. So the whole point being is that to deceive us, to make us forget who the Creator made us to be in the image and likeness of God, that could create our own reality, create a good life by our thoughts and our words and our feelings and our speaking. And here we are. Gosh darn, we forgot who we were. That we have the ability to not live by all the propaganda, by all the religions, by all the governments, by all the hearsay, by all of the tablets and stuff that were written. Those tablets and stuff are millions of years old. That how the people, as they progressed into where we're at today. And you can go into any one of them, and because we chose, somebody chose, I didn't choose it, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, to be able to think from what we perceive and all that kind of good stuff. So here we are. We forgot the real reality. The real reality to life is we have the power that the Creator God gave us to live life and live it abundantly. But somebody else came along and gave us this other option. And we chose it. I didn't choose it again. Somebody way back in our ancestry chose for us, just like still what's happening today. They're still choosing for us because we're taught that we got to look outward for help. We got to look outward to make the decisions and stuff for us and for our life. When reality is that we're one with the Creator. But we've been taught to forget who we are. That's why you sit with the Creator every morning. The Creator placed the Spirit, His Spirit, her Spirit, which we were created in God's image and likeness, male and female. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is about reality. The reality is of who we are. We are the Creator's children, and we don't fall far from the tree. We don't fall far from the tree that created us. We just got to remember who we are and quit falling for all the deception. We were created for the Creator to love us, to take care of us. But we have the Creator's life in us. There's a scripture, and I'm not sure where it's at, but it talks about we are the hands and feet and eyes of the Creator. And the Creator needs every one of us. And the Creator gave us gifts and talents and abilities to be able to move them mountains out of our way so we can live the life that the Creator meant for us to have. Reality. The reality is that we're powerful. We're just not an animal that's crawling around on the ground. Because according to the scripture, Lucifer, the angel, well, who is man that you're so in love with them? Who are they? Why are they so special? Because we were created in the image and the likeness, and we are the Creator's hands, arms, legs, and feet, and speech, eyes, and ears. And we got to remember who we are. That's reality. We got to get away from scrolling on the internet, believing everything that somebody else has wrote up and spoke about, because that's their perception. But if we go within and listen to the Creator, which is all, the Creator is all, and we are one with male and female. We were made in the image. It's like when they said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Well, who are we? Let us. It's hard to explain. They're talking to each other, but somebody else come along and said, don't listen to that. Do this. And that's what's happening today. Mankind has decided, this is how I see things. And they'll write books and scrolls and do videos and stuff like that to say, well, this is how we're supposed to do it. Instead of going within and finding the God within. Finding that we don't fall far from the tree. Well, that's all I got to say for today, folks. So, if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. And Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinks in his heart, the things he perceives, that's the direction humanity will go in. And we have got to break free from the knowledge of good and evil and start choosing life, the life that we were meant to have. And the reality of that is, we don't have to look outside ourselves to find the answers. We look within to what the Creator is telling us and what the Creator has placed within us. So, y'all have a great day. I love y'all. Talk soon.